Namaste. Welcome back to the Agni class. In last session, we were discussing about what are the types of Agni and Jatara Agni and importance of Jatara Agni in our body. So in this session, we will be discussing about types of Jatara Agni. When you are seeing the types of Jatara Agni, first of all, whether everyone digests the food in the same way. Some people will digest anything. So you can see some people, they may have food, different kinds of food, but they can easily digest it. But some person, they digest irregularly. Some will digest too quickly. They may be asking food every time. For some person, the digestion will be very slow. That is where this classifies happens. Because of this only, Ayurveda has classified these patterns into 4 types of Jatara Agni. So, what are the types if you see? First is Vishama Agni. Second, Tikshna Agni, Manda Agni and Sama Agni. These are the 4 types of Jatara Agni. So based on this Agni only, as we said, some people can digest fast, some people cannot digest the food. It may take long time. Some can digest any kind of food what they take. Some people can digest very too quickly. This is all depends on this 4 types of Agni. So let's see detailing on each Agni now. When you come under Vishama Agni, Vishama Agni is, the meaning of Vishama means irregular or unpredictable, we can say. The digestion becomes inconsistent. Sometimes if you see some people, like for example, they'll have food, they can digest quickly. So sometimes it is very strong. Sometimes even if they have a light food, the digestion is very slow. Sometimes it is weak. So that is why it is called Vishama, that is unpredictable. We don't know when it is strong and when it is weak. So that is called Vishama Agni. When that Vishama Agni, which is a dosha predominance, is Vata. Vata dosha aggravation will be happening in that Vishama Agni. Have you seen people or a patient saying like, doctor, yesterday I have digested perfectly. Today even a small meals feels heavy. This is when such people say some related to this kind of talks or this kind of symptoms, then we have to analyze that it is Vishama Agni. It's a type of Jatara Agni where Vada is aggravated. So they may have a clinical features like bloating, there may be abdominal discomfort will be there, flatulence, irregular appetite, constipation, sometimes with alternative with diarrhea, sometimes heaviness in the abdomen. These are some of the clinical features which you can see when people having Vishama Agni. How it happens? What are the general common triggers which makes people into a Vishama Agni is irregular meal timings. The person will not have food on regular timing. They may have a food whatever they want, like whenever they want to have. Sometimes they may have food at 8 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock, sometimes 12 o'clock. There is no regular timings while they are having food. And then sometimes they will have fasting, and then again they'll go to have food, very heavy food, or overeating may happen. This is all some few triggers which may create a Vishamagni, some dry fruits or excessive travel. All the symptoms like stress eating, all these triggers will aggravate the vata and it will upset your Agni. The Agni is becoming Vishama. Because of this, what happens? The symptoms will arise. So if you see in a modern, it is like functional indigestion or erratic digestive function is happening in their body, like IBS, like patterns. You can just correlate to that. Next, if you see Tikshna Agni. Tikshna Agni. Tikshna means sharp. So it indicates like sharp digestive fire. Here, as I said, Tikshna means sharp, intense, excessively strong. This is the word meaning of Tikshna. The food, what happens here? It will digest rapidly. Hunger becomes excessive. When the food is digested quickly, what happens? We'll be getting hungry like within an hour or within a 1.5 hours, you will be getting hungry. So definitely if you see this, there will be a Pitta predominance dosha can be seen in Tikshna Agni. So for example, people will say like if I miss one meal, I become extremely irritable or anger. So you can see so many people, they'll say I cannot tolerate if I skip a meal, my temper is out. Like I feel angry again and again very quickly. These are the symptoms which you can see in a person which reflects a Tikshna Agni. What will be the clinical features if you see in Tikshna Agni is hyperacidity, burning sensation will be there. There will be a sour belchings will be happening, burning sensation in the stomach or in the esophageal region. There will be an excessive thirst. They couldn't tolerate the heat in their body, irritability, anger, strong appetite. Always they feel hungry throughout the day. So these are the clinical features which will be observed in a person who is having an Tikshna Agni in their system. How this can be occurred in what is the ahara or vihara if they do, which will reach to this Tikshna Agni is obviously it is excessive spicy foods in their regular meals, and if they have alcohol or fried food items, junk food items, irregular lifestyle, excessive heat exposure, like for example they don't sleep at night, they sleep some other time, or they travel too much, or something, they have an irregular lifestyle. These all the things which is trigger the body to create into a Tikshna Agni. So for example here, if a person is having a strong digestion, does not always mean they are healthy. It's a healthy digestion. For example, if I am having a food, if I digest very fast, it doesn't mean that people is having a healthy digestion. It is excessive metabolic heat is produced. So what happen? It may even damage the tissues gradually. So that is what it happens in Tikshna Agni. The next is Manda Agni. Manda Agni. Manda means you can understand it's a weak or dull or slow. So Manda word meaning is dull, slow or weak. It's a weak digestive fire. Here what happens? Your digestive capacity will become sluggish. Even if you take a very small meals, you cannot digest properly. So it will digest poorly. So when we say that dull, slow, weak, what it represents? It's predominantly it's a kapha aggravation is happening in Manda Agni. So this also you can observe in so many persons, like even after eating a little food, I feel heavy for hours. They cannot digest for a long time. They feel there is a food inside their stomach. So they don't feel hungry at all. This is where you can say that is Manda Agni is affected in their body. What is the clinical features if you see in Manda Agni? Heaviness. because the food stays still in their stomach, they don't digest, so that heaviness is there. And if the food is not digested, if you feel heavy, obviously you feel lethargic, and there will be a poor appetite, you don't get appetite very soon. And excessive sleepiness, because that heaviness, slow and everything, excessive sleepiness will be there. There will be a coated tongue and sluggish digestion. There will be a tendency of ama in your body. These are the clinical features which you see in Manda Agni. What is the triggering factors, ahara and vihara, which leads to a Manda Agni is overeating. Sometimes when people are continuously eating food without giving a gap to the next meal or a previous meal to digest, and then continuously having a heavy oily foods in their regular diet, and sedentary lifestyle. If they are having a food, you should have some exercise or some other activities to your body, so that it will be helpful to digest that food. They will be, if they are sedentary, they don't do any exercise, just watching some TV or sitting and doing some jobs. So what happens, it may lead to an Mandagni. So excessive sleeping, if continuously, if a person is having food and sleeping, having food, sleeping, doesn't do any work, obviously it may lead to an Mandagni. Then frequent snacking. So as said, if previous meal is not digested, the next minute they'll have some snacks continuously. This all the contributors which makes you into an Agni weak. So you can, if you see like in modern way of like sluggish metabolism, slow digestion, impaired digestive efficiency, these are the things you can just correlate. And the next one is, these are the three types of Agni which is having some imbalance. The next is Sama Agni. Sama means equal. So it's a balanced, harmonious Sama. So this is an ideal digestive fire, Sama Agni. Here what happens, all the doshas will be in a balanced way. The features of Samagni will be healthy appetite. So if a person is having a healthy appetite, they say I'm getting hungry on time, on every meal. So the timely the digestion will happen. So after having food, they feel the lightness in the stomach. There will be a good bowel movements every day in the morning. There will be an energy will be very stable. They will have a mental clarity will be there. Their immune system will be very strong. These are the features of a Samagni. So after eating, the person, if he feels nourished, not sleepy, not bloated, there is no burning, if they feel comfort, lightness and energy, this is where the Samagni is present in their body. The Samagni will produce a proper digestion, healthy tissues, good bala, good ojas and stable mental well-being. So far you have seen the types of Agni. There are 4 types of Agni, which is Vishamagni, Tikshnagni, Mandagni and Samagni. In Vishamagni means, the word meaning itself, it says that which is irregular or unpredictable. Sometimes the Agni will be strong, sometimes it will be weak. So it is irregular. When irregular comes, there is an Vata aggravation happens. So here all the Vata related symptoms will be observed in the persons. What is the triggering factor? Like irregular meal timings, dry foods, excessive travel, stress eating. These are the triggering factors which produce an Vishamagni. If you see, the next is Tikshna Agni. Tikshna means sharp, intense, excessively strong. So which is food will digest very fast, rapidly. So person will have hunger excessively. Here the dosha imbalances, pitta aggravation will be happen. Here all the pitta related symptoms will be there, like acidity or burning sensation, thirst, irritability, anger, etc. This is triggered. Why it is happening? It is because when people are continuously having some spicy food, alcohol, fried items, junk foods, all kind of foods which triggers a pitta dosha, which may leads to into a tikshna agni. Then comes under Manda Agni. Manda means weak, dull, slow, we can say. Agni is a digestive fire. When the digestive capacity is very sluggish, even the small meals or a food cannot digest in their body. That is Manda Agni, which has a symptoms related to the kapha. Kapha aggravation will be there. There will be a kapha related symptoms you can see in their body. Why it happens? When they are if they have a sedentary lifestyle, or when they have overeating or heavy oily foods. These are the reasons for the Manda Agni. And then Samagni. When Samagni means, Sama means balanced, equal, harmonious, that is. So when there is a balanced fire, which is the ideal one. So here all the three doshas will be in a balanced state. When you have an Samagni, if a people is saying I'm having a healthy, I'm having an appetite on time, when I'm having my having my bowel movements every day in the morning, and I'm timely digesting the food, and I feel very light after every meal. I have a clarity, I have a very good stamina, energy, like radiance or strong immunity, etc. This is the features of Samagni. So this is these are the four types of Agni so far we have seen. So now we'll see what will happen if what is the effect if we have an imbalanced Agni. So when Agni becomes Vishama, Tikshna or Manda, the food processing becomes defective. So for example, food may become Manda Agni. What happens? The food may digest, like for example, the digestion will happen. Apakva means incompletely digested food will be there. So here the digestion process has happened, but because of the Manda Agni, weak digestive fire, the food which is being taken is not digested properly, not completely it is digested. When it is Tikshna Agni, what happens? The food what you have taken is overboard, it's burned a lot. It may be even burn the tissues inside the body. Then comes under Vishama Agni. If it is a Vishama Agni, what happens? The Agni is irregular. So it may, sometimes it may be Pakva, sometimes it may be Apakva. That means sometimes it will be partially digested and sometimes it will be inconsistent digestion will happen. Because of all this changes in the body, if the food is not properly digested, or if the food is overly burned, or if the food is digested sometimes and partially not digested, means what happens here, which will lead to an ama formation. So here is what the toxins, like for example, if you say ama is not simply, it's an undigested food. So it is represents improperly processed material within the body. So you have seen, based on this Manda Agni, Tikshna Agni and Vishama Agni, the food has not been digested properly, right? So what happens, the food which is having this undigested food, which will be inside your channels somewhere, and this undigested food qualities will be like sticky, heavy, obstructive, like it's like block, or it may be leading to a disease producing agent also in future. So what is the symptoms or clinical thing, if you see, like if ama is like heaviness, you feel a heaviness in your body or heaviness in your overall whole body, you can feel fatigue, you always feel the tiredness in the body, you can't do any work. Sometimes you feel like sitting and doing the works, and there will be a coating all over your tongue will be present, and you may feel the indigestion. You can see the difference in your body there because of ama accumulation. What happens is there will be a joint disorders will be there, and then inflammatory conditions will happen. So the inflammations will start happening in your body, and even sometimes it may lead to a chronic disease tendency, it may happen. So like as said, like Vishamagni is an irregular digestion, Vata is a dominant there, Tikshna Agni is excessive digestion where the Pitta dominant will be there, Manda Agni slow digestion where Kapha dominant is there, and Samagni is a balanced digestion, it is a ideal state. So therefore, if you see, Ayurveda doesn't not ask only what are you eating. When a patient comes or when a person comes, when always doctor inquire, how is your Agni? Means how is your appetite, how is your bowel movements, how is your sleep. These all the questions will doctor ask, not just only what are you eating, what type of food are you eating a nutrient dense foods, or are you eating some healthy diet. We don't just ask those questions, we will be assessing how the Agni is functioning in their body, because healthy Agni is a foundation of a digestion, immunity, metabolism, mental clarity, and everything. So far we have seen the types of Jatara Agni. So now we'll go to Bhuta Agni. So the elemental digestive fire. Now let us move much more like deeper way. So we understand that Jatara Agni digest food in the digestive tract. But here comes another important concept like Bhuta Agni. So after the food is digested, can the body directly converted into a tissues? So is there we can think, right, you have to think little more deeper way. So the question will arise like this. So after, when we have food, when it is digested properly, when can the body directly convert it into a tissues? For example, like if you drink milk, does it immediately become a bone? It will happen? No, right? Like for example, if you eat like dates or something that's like almonds, so do they instantly become a muscle? Of course no, right? Yeah. So the further level of processing is required. This is where the Bhuta Agni comes into action. Let's understand about Bhuta Agni now. The human body and all the food substances are composed of Panchamahabhutas, which we have seen earlier also. Everything in the universe are made up of a Panchamahabhutas. What is the Panchamahabhutas? Like Prithvi, earth, up, or Jala, it is called water, Tejas or Agni, which is fire, Vayu, air, Akasha, ether. So everything in the human body and every food substance are composed of Panchamahabhutas. So this each Mahabhuta will possess its own digestive or a metabolic fire, which is called Bhuta Agni. There is a verse in Charaka Samhita that all these 5 elemental fires are Prithvi Agni, Up Agni, Tejas Agni, Vayu Agni, Akasha Agni. It's a very easy thing. So based on the 5 elements, the Agni is there. So what happens that it digests and process their respective elemental components present within the food. Hope you understand the concept, right? Like so what is this there are like, what is the functions of Bhuta Agni? Like Bhuta Agni will perform elemental transformation. There is a selective nutrient processing will happen here. So in Jatara Agni, the food is digested. Whether the food is properly digested or improperly digested, or digested in a Sama Agni level, whether it is digested properly, is happening in Jatara Agni level. Here what happens, a selective nutrient processing is happening, the elemental balancing is happening, the preparation of nutrients for tissue metabolism is happening in Bhuta Agni level. So let's understand in a process wise. Like Jatara Agni, that is a stage 1. What happens? The food gets digested. In stage 2, what happened? Bhuta Agni, where the process of elemental fraction is happening in the Bhuta Agni based on Panchamahabhuta Agnis, respective Panchamahabhuta Agni. The third stage, Dhatu Agni comes, where what happens, it creates a tissue nourishment will happen in Dhatu Agni. So think of Jatara Agni is like it's a primary cooking. If you think Jatara Agni, it's like primary cooking. Bhuta Agni means it performs like ingredient wise refinement will happen in Bhuta Agni. If you see in Dhatu Agni, what happens, it distributes the nourishment to the tissues, to the each tissues. If you can see some example, if you eat some fruits like banana, what happens, banana contains Prithvi component like structure, bulk. Okay, Jala component, what is it, moisture. Tejas Agni component, it transformative potential is there. Vayu, there is a movement and subtle activity. And Akasha component, it's a cellular space and subtle arrangements. So after Jatara Agni, which digests that happens, the Bhuta Agni will selectively process these elemental fractions in the body. Same like milk. If milk is getting digested, if you drink milk, what happens? It has proteins, fats, minerals, water, like so many elemental qualities are present in the milk. So can the body directly utilize everything equally? Do you feel that? No. Right? The body must selectively transform the components according to the need. So this selective elemental conversation will happen because of Bhuta Agni. You can correlate in a modern way like biochemical transformation or molecular level conversion, nutrient assimilations, some micronutrient metabolism. You can compare on this process. And one more thing, like for example, if a person consumes the same nutritious food, some will have healthy assimilation, the other may have poor nutrient utilization. So despite of like adequate intake, what happens, the cellular transformation will differs. So this can be understood through impaired elemental processing. This is like Bhuta Agni. So this impaired Bhuta Agni may contribute to what all the symptoms you can see, like what happens in your body is poor assimilation may happen. though you have a nutritious food or healthy diet or so and so, so the poor assimilation will happen if the bhuta agni is affected. The nutritional imbalance may happen, the weak tissue nourishment will happen, and metabolic dysfunction will happen if there is an impaired bhuta agni in your body. Again, I'll give one more example. Like, for example, imagine if you are making some vegetable soup. After cooking, what you will add, still sometimes you add spices, salt, or some consistency you will check. So the final balancing is needed when you are doing some food or anything. So similarly, even though the food is digested after the jatara agni contact, the bhuta agni is the one which fine tunes that into an elemental balance. That is where the bhuta agni importance has been present. Okay, hope you understand about the bhuta agni. So bhuta agni is there are 5 types of bhuta agni. Bhuta agni, it's an elemental digestive fire. So after the food has been digested, there is a 5 types of bhuta agni is there: Prithvi, Ap, Tejas, Vayu, and Akasha. Based on this agni, where that element, it will digest and process the respective elemental components which is present within the food. So here the jatara agni is the one in stage 1, it digests food; bhuta agni which process the elemental fraction; dhatu agni which creates the tissue nourishment. Okay. So now let's see Dhatu Agni. We have gone through Jatara Agni. We have seen the Bhuta Agni, 5 Bhuta Agni. Now we will go detailing in Dhatu Agni concept. The tissue metabolic fire. Dhatus means tissues. Now the food has been digested. The elemental fraction have been processed. Now comes the final question: how does the food become you? Right? How does rice become blood? Or how do your nutrients become muscle, fat, bone marrow, reproductive tissue? How it happens? So this transformation occurs through Dhatu Agni. Hope you understand. Okay. So each dhatu possesses its own specific metabolic fire. This tissue specific Agni is called Dhatva Agni. In Charaka it's mentioned, each tissue metabolizes the nutrients through its own Agni and transforms them into a substance similar to their own thing. There are 7 types of Dhatva Agni. That is Rasa Rasagni, Rakta Raktagni, Mamsa Mamsagni, Meda Medagni, Asti Astyagni, Majja Majjagni, Shukra Shukragni. So these are the 7 types of Dhatu Agni. So let's see the functions of Dhatu Agni. What is the role of Dhatu Agni? What it is responsible for? So you have seen it's a tissue, right? Like, so tissue metabolism happens, nourishment will happen, there is a transformation is responsible. It maintains a tissue quality, and it is also responsible for formation of the subsequent dhatus. The next dhatus, if you want, it is Dhatva Agni is the responsible Agni. So food does not nourish all tissues simultaneously. Okay. The transformation occurs gradually only. How, like when the food is digested, when it is properly, then it will convert into the elemental fraction, then the ahara rasa is produced, the digestive juice, then this converts into rasa. From rasa it will convert into rakta. From rakta it will convert into mamsa. From mamsa to medas. Medas to hasti. Hasti to majja. Majja to shukra. So this is the sequence which your food which digest, and if it gets the digestive like ahara rasam, this will convert into each tissues in your body. Like for example, if you are having some food, whatever food which helps for your to increase your muscle bone, or like for example almonds, some cashews, milk, dates, something, so will they immediately produce a bone, muscle, reproductive tissue or etc.? No, right? Because the transformation happens gradually through the successive dhatu agni action. Each tissues in a sequence it will convert, it will transform into those tissues. So for example, if you see Rasagni, it is responsible for plasma or the fluid, the nutrient fluid metabolism will happen in Rasagni. The healthy Rasagni supports nourishment, hydration and the freshness in your body. Example, like if the proper digestion of soups, fruits and fluids can support healthy rasa, the digestive juice. If there is a weak rasa agni, it may present with what happens, there will be a dryness, fatigue, poor nourishment will be observed in your body. This is rasa agni responsible things. When it comes to rakta, what happens is it supports blood metabolism. So for example, people will have, though they may have some dry grapes or pomegranate or iron rich foods, despite of eating, some people remains anemic. Why? It's because the reason is simply it's not simply be a food deficiency, there is no proper transformation is not happening there. So the proper transformation is necessary if you are having a food. Then comes under Mamsa Agni. Mamsa Agni is, it supports a muscle metabolism. If a person eats a good like a protein rich diets, one develops a healthy muscle, another develops, what happens, if there is a weaker Agni, he may develop or she may develop fatigue, poor muscle tone, weakness or tissue metabolism will differ in their body. Meda Agni means it regulates the fat metabolism. For you can see so many people saying this, I'm having a food very little but I'm gaining weight easily. This is because there is an alteration of Meda Agni in their body. So this you can even compare with lipid metabolism, metabolic regulations in a modern way. Then comes to Astya Agni. It's responsible for bone tissue metabolism. Like when it comes to a bone tissue metabolism, patient consumes like so many good substances, food substance like milk, sesame or even some calcium supplements, but yet they may develop so many bone related issues like osteoporosis, something osteoarthritis. So why? Because this was calcium absent in their body. What is the reason for it? Because again the transformation, the tissue utilization is not happening over there. So the Agni is involved. So that has to be properly present. Then only this will be resolved. Then comes under Majja Agni. So in Majja Agni, It supports the bone marrow and the nervous tissue nourishment. That is Majja Agni. Then Shukra Agni. It's a responsible for reproductive tissue metabolism. It supports a fertility, vitality, regenerative capacity. So hope you have understood about the Dhatu Agni, 7 types of Dhatu Agni, and how it has been transformed in each Dhatus, what is their functions, etc. So Dhatu Agni can be understood as tissue-specific cellular metabolism in a modern way. Example like protein metabolism, lipid metabolism, bone remodeling, hematopoiesis, or reproductive metabolism, etc. Like for example, as I have explained before also, if Jatara Agni is a main processing plant, if Jatara Agni works well, then the next will be a Bhuta Agni. It is like a quality department. Dhatu Agni is like specialized manufacturing. That means like food has been digested properly, that has to convert into the elemental fraction, that whatever the food has been transformed, it has to reach to their necessary tissues and form their own tissues properly. So all these 3 stages has to happen in your body properly. If Agni is good, this will be happening correctly in our system. It may lead to a healthy life. So in the same way, if all this are happening, that then all your blood, muscle, fat, bone, marrow, whatever reproductive tissue will be functioning very well, or nourished very well, or properly formed. If any of this tissue is affected, if any of this tissue level Agni is affected, what happens? It may have the quality of the tissues or whatever it is will be affected in the consequent tissues. So now we can now you understand why Ayurveda gives a tremendous importance to Agni from the moment of food enters the mouth until the tissues are formed. Every stage depends upon Agni. So if healthy Agni is there in your body, what happens? There will be a proper digestion, good absorption will happen, balanced metabolism will happen, healthy tissues, immunity will be good, vitality will be good. So if your Agni is good, all this will be achieving properly. If it is a disturbed Agni, what will happen? It will lead into an opposite way, like indigestion, bloating, accumulation, whatever the deficiency related to the nutritional tissue disorders, chronic disease will occur. How all this will happen is based on your ahara and vihara, based on your food and lifestyle in your life, which will reflect all this. If you want to maintain your Agni in your body, you have to keep your ahara and vihara in a proper way. So if even a people eats a nutritious food daily, like for example, everyone will say I'm eating vegetables, fruits, milk, protein, which is everything is a very healthy food, but still I'm experiencing weakness, fatigue, poor immunity. What it is the reason? Is a problem of food intake is here the food is good, but our Agni is not proper. So first we have to think to correct our own Agni in our body, then it is easy for our body to digest it and absorb and assimilate and convert and transform the nutrients to all our body and produce a healthy tissues finally. Once again, we'll just go through what we have taught today. We have seen a Bhuta Agni. So Bhuta Agni are the 5 things, that is Prithvi, Ap, Tejas, Vayu and Akasha Agni. which is an elemental fraction, is happening in this Bhuta Agni, which is a very essential after the Jatara Agni, which digests the food. Then it is Dhatu Agni. There are 7 types of Dhatu Agni. Here the tissue metabolism is happening over here. So when you have an healthy Agni, you will have healthy digestion, healthy dhatus and strong bala, ojas. This is what we have been telling from the Agni class. So if you're having a disturbed Agni, whether it is improper, Tikshna, Manda or Vishama, whatever it is, if the Agni is disturbed, what happens? It will produce into an Ama. That is, Ama means it's accumulation of toxins in your system, which blocks the channels. What happens? Because of blocking a channels, it doesn't nourish the next dhatus or next tissues in your body. So there the dhatu dushti is happening and disease formation will happen. So when we study about Agni, we are not studying a digestion alone. We are studying the complete science of a transformation from food to energy, from nourishment to immunity, from metabolism to life itself. So far we have covered topics about Agni. So we have completed Agni in this 3 parts of videos. In the first part, we have gone through introduction about Agni, what is the definition of Agni, what is the etymology of an Agni, what is the word meaning of Agni, what are the importance of Agni, and as well as how the Agni is being created, how the what is the relationship between the Panchamahabhutas and that Agni we have gone through. And then we have seen types of Agnis in the next video. There are 13 types of Agni which we have seen: Jatara Agni, Bhuta Agni and Dhatuva Agni. And we have seen what Charaka says about Charaka, and Vagbhata says about the seat of Agni. Shushruta has mentioned the seat of Agni is Pittadhara Kala, and Vagbhata has mentioned it as Grahani, and we have seen a Grahani word meaning, like a word meaning of Grahani, and then what is the importance of Grahani there. And next we have we have seen detailing about this 13 types of Agni and how it has been, the food is converted to an like how the food is digested, how it has been formed, how the nutrients has produced, the energy has produced, how the transformation has been happened in the body to convert into a healthy dhatus. So when all this is in proper your ojas or tejas or bala, the immunity will be strong. So that is why whenever in any text, if you see in classical text, there is mentioned that Dinacharya and Ritucharya has been mentioned in the classical text. What is the use of Dinacharya and Ritucharya? Like, Dinacharya is, you have to do, a person has to follow daily routine in their life. Like for example, getting early, like in a Brahma Muhurta, having their morning routine, like passing a bowel movement, cleaning their body, and doing Abhyangam, oil massage, doing rituals. All this has to be done regular, doing vyayama, exercise. This regular routine is most needed in our life. When it comes to an Ritucharya means like a seasonal regimen. For example, in which Ritu, like Hemanta Ritu, like in Hemant and Shishira Ritu, that is a winter season. If you see, the Agni is very good. So what happens when Agni is very good? We should have proper nourishing food and heavy foods during those time. And when it comes to an Vasanta Ritu, the Agni will be little bit diminishing when winter season. Here, what we have to do is we should change our food style little bit lighter than the winter season. When it comes into an Grishma Ritu, that is a summer season, Agni will be totally weak. So during that time, we should have a food which is nourished, but it should be in a very light quantity. And again, when it comes to an Varsha Ritu, in Varsha Ritu, what happens? It will be an imbalanced Agni will be there. So that time also we should follow and a very light food has to be followed as like of summer season. Then it comes to an Sharat Ritu. Here what happens? Your appetite getting little more better than your Varsha Ritu, that is a rainy season. Here the food has to be changed again. Then comes under Shishira. Shishira is also a winter season. So here the Agni becoming balancing. So what happens here? The food you have to take again little more in a heavier food or like so that the nourished food should be taken. So this seasonal changes we have to observe. So we have to observe our own seasons in our own country, and also we should have our food which is localized, and seasonal food should be consumed to maintain a good Agni in our body. If a person who is following this Dinacharya and Ritucharya and all other regimens which is mentioned in our classical text or anything, if we are following all this only, we can maintain a healthy Agni in our body. When Agni is good, then rest everything is fine, because when Agni, if you are following a properly in your system, the digestion will be very good, and you will have a healthy tissues, and you will be having a very strong strength and ojas, like you can see the radiance or like your face and everything, intelligence, everything will be very perfect. So follow the regular and proper diet and lifestyle in your everyday life to maintain a healthy Agni. Be a disease free and be a healthy individual in your life. So healthy Agni will leads to an longevity also. Okay, namaste. So once again, and we will be seeing the next session on Bala, immunity, which we will see in the next video. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhineha. Thank you.